The sugar cubes dissolved on our tongues. A sweet preluded to the kaleidoscope we craved. It was the summer of '68, and we were nestled deep in the woods behind the old Gunderson farm. A couple dozen of us lived back there on a makeshift commune. Mrs. Gunderson allowed us to use the property in exchange for help around the house and garden. Mr. Gunderson had passed away back in '59. It was quite a place to be. We lived in harmony with nature. We played experimental music. We ingested copious amounts of marijuana, LSD, peyote, and mushrooms. We practiced free love, swapping sexual partners. We participated in group lovemaking sessions where gender roles were completely disregarded. The line between pleasure and pain was blurred, and the very concept of decency was stretched to its limits. It was a simple, innocent way of life. A campfire served as our kitchen stove. A shallow hole behind a big oak tree served as our bathroom. We showered whenever it rained. A small group of us decided to trip that evening while everyone else was out panhandling, purse snatching, and shoplifting. Just myself, Liam, Serafina, and Finn. We decided to take 3 times as much as what was considered the maximum safe dose. We wanted to talk to the spirits. We wanted to see just how far this drug could take us. The air hummed with cicadas, and the world felt ripe for peeling back its mundane layers. At first, it was the usual symphony. Colors bled into each other, the trees pulsed with an inner light, and laughter bubbled up like a spring. Liam swore he could taste the sound of the wind, and Serafina was convinced the ants were whispering secrets. I saw patterns in the bark of the oaks, intricate mandalas that shifted and swirled with cosmic significance. It was beautiful, terrifying, and exhilarating all at once. But as the hours stretched, something shifted. The edges of the beauty began to fray. The colors grew too intense, throbbing with a malevolent energy. The laughter turned brittle, echoing strangely in the deepening twilight. The wind no longer tasted sweet. It felt like a cold breath on my skin. The trees started to twist into grotesque shapes, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching for us. The patterns in the bark became faces, leering and mocking. Serafina whimpered, clutching Liam's arm. "They're watching us," she whispered, her eyes wide and unfocused. We tried to talk ourselves down, reminding each other it was just the acid, a temporary detour of the mind. But the reassurances felt hollow, lost in the growing unease that clung to us like a shroud. The ground beneath us seemed to undulate, and the familiar sounds of the forest were replaced by a low, guttural hum that vibrated in our bones. Then they began to appear. At first, they were just shadows, elongated and indistinct, lurking at the periphery of our vision. But they grew bolder, solidifying into humanoid shapes, their features obscured, their presence radiating a palpable hostility. They didn't speak, but their silence was more terrifying than any scream. We felt their eyes on us, cold and predatory. Panic clawed at my throat. This isn't right. I stammered, my voice trembling. It's not wearing off. Liam, usually the most grounded of us, was pale and sweating. I don't feel like I'm coming down at all. We tried to move, to walk back to the relative safety of the commune, but the woods had become a labyrinth. The trees shifted and rearranged themselves. One by one, the others succumbed to a catatonic state, their eyes vacant, their bodies limp. Serafina just rocked back and forth, a low moan escaping her lips. Liam stared blankly ahead, muttering incoherently, thin, simply curled into a fetal position, his face buried in his knees. I fought to stay awake, to hold on to some semblance of reality, but it was a losing battle. The shadow people were closing in, their silent menace suffocating. I felt a cold touch on my arm, and a wave of pure terror washed over me. The last thing I remember is the feeling of being dragged, pulled into the swirling darkness, the guttural hum growing louder, their unseen eyes piercing my soul. I don't know how long I've been here. The woods are gone, replaced by a vast, desolate expanse bathed in a sickly green light. The shadow people are my constant companions to the silent judgment of heavy rain. There is no sun, no moon, no consumer land match. There is only this endless, terrifying space. Somewhere in the void,